Hi everyone, this is Think Freely on Game at a Glance. Today we're going to be reviewing Aragami, which is available through Steam. Warning, the following review contains spoilers. This game caught the eye of me and my friend PerpetualGamer due to it mainly reminding us of a childhood favorite, Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Both games draw on the same principles. Basically you're a badass ninja, their enemies are alive, and of course they need to die. In Aragami, you're, Aragami, a vengeful spirit summoned by the game's protagonist Yumiko, who is what I can only describe as a Zelda fairy.
Hey, listen!
Or she's alive? There's not really a good way to tell. Now, as this story goes, Yumiko's home country has been invaded by multiple armies to be repelled each time until it finally falls to Kaiho, which I hope I said correctly, the so-named Army of Light. You are summoned to help Yumiko escape this army, as well as helping free the Empress who has been imprisoned, apparently up to this point in the story. Now let's start with the game's mechanics, which honestly all around are pretty good. Now you have what essentially amounts to a power bar, which is shown on your cape either turning from dark blue to red, depending on the level of power. Now all of your abilities are based on you using the shadows within the game, with your power bar actually being refilled by staying within them. Basically like an albino on a sunny day, it's in your best interest to avoid any sources of light. The most basic ability you have is to actually teleport from shadow to shadow within the game. This allows for quick stealth kills as well as smooth gameplay with interesting use of the various shadows within the game itself. Now as far as the enemy AI goes, it's kind of a mixed bag. Enemies will respond quickly if you approach them from the front or if you're seen, but can be laughably easy to dispatch one-on-one. However, in groups of 2 or more, they pose a serious threat, as anytime you're actually executing a kill animation, you can be killed by them. Basically what that means, if you mess up, you're probably not going to survive. Now the stealth aspect is by far one of the funnest points of the game, as well in my opinion as being one of the best ways to get through most missions. Although because of the aforementioned AI, sometimes I found myself running through literally just stabbing everybody in the face, and at no point did I feel that I was actually going to die. This can take away from some of the fun that comes actually out of the game from being stealthy. Now that negative aside, let's actually talk about gameplay. There's a branching talent system for different styles of play depending on what you prefer. If you're a more stealthy player like my friend PerpetualGamer, you can invest in the ability to melt away bodies, which is very useful as enemies who spot them will immediately trigger an alarm system which will cause all enemies in the area to start searching for you. Adding on to that, there are only 2 enemy types, melee and ranged, and so you can invest in an ability like throwing kunai, which allow you to take them down from a distance before they are able to spot you. Now that being said, mechanics at other times can be frustrating, as for instance missing a teleport over a water source will result in an instant death, as apparently you're made from the same paper mache as the Wicked Witch of the West. This results in you reverting to either the last save checkpoint, denoted by shrines, or beginning the map over again. Now maybe you're like me, where there are certain situations where you decided to forego stealth as the enemy AI wasn't particularly punishing. I personally invested in the trap ability, which creates what I can only describe as a black hole. You can lay this anywhere on the map, or if you're stealthy enough, on the back of enemies once the ability is leveled up. Now you also get small windows into the adversity that Yumiko has faced, such as losing her parents to Kaiho soldiers and having to learn how to survive on her own. While the story adds some nice flavor and manages to break up the constant killing streaks, it wasn't the most compelling. The result was that I found myself skimming through a lot of the story scenes, as while I got the general sense of what the developers were going for, I didn't really feel invested. Now this could be because all the NPCs in the game are enemies besides Yumiko herself, or as stated earlier, she goes from Zelda fairy to human and she's not a constant physical presence. It made it hard for me to become attached to her or invest in her story. Now I will say that the cutscenes are skillfully done, as they were able to convey a lot of story with very short transitions. Now for me, one of the best things about the game is its support of co-op play. This allowed me and PerpetualGamer to go through each map together, divide and conquer, or coordinate takedowns on enemies. It also has the added benefit that if one of you dies, if the other player is able to get to the next checkpoint, you respawn, allowing you to continue through the map without having to restart. And of course, co-op wouldn't be co-op without being able to completely screw over your partner just for the fun of it. Now I can tell you my least favorite thing about this game is the actual leveling system. In order to level up, you have to find scrolls which are hidden on each map. However, not all of these are obvious, and while you can invest in an ability that allows you to find them, until you get that ability, or if you don't know how to use it like we did until about halfway through the game, we missed a lot of level up scrolls. Now the game does have a point and ranking system based on how well you do on each map and how stealthy you are, but it might as well not even exist as it has no effect on your ability to actually level. Seriously, it's like whose line is it anyway where the points don't matter. Yes, I'll take working my ass off and getting no reward for 500. So what's the verdict? Well, it's good. We enjoyed the game and I give it 7.5 out of 10. While some of the maps can be repetitive, there needs to be maybe more enemy types, and to be fair, we only played through on normal, so the AI may get much harder if you increase the difficulty. We had a really good time. This is a good game for anyone who enjoyed stealth-based games or would like something to play with a friend, so I would recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, feel free to leave me a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and leave me a thumbs down.